Fox News senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. How serious is this if they've got it on her, if they can prove it?
Well, these allegations are far more serious than those for which Senator Robert Menendez of New Jersey was indicted, and they essentially form the same type of allegation, a quid pro quo. You give cash to me or someone else on my behalf, and I exercise my official governmental judgment in favor of you. Now, I haven't seen the book. We haven't seen it, but we have read a version of it in the New York Times, or a summary of it in the New York Times. And the allegations are truly damning. They are clearly enough to trigger an investigation. The allegations show timelines of contributions to the family foundation and decisions made by Mrs. Clinton favorable to the contributor, or contributions to the family foundation and sky-high $500,000 in speech, unheard of in this business, speaking fees to her husband, or contributions to the family foundation and 2 years later sky-high speaking fees to Mrs. Clinton. Look, the essence of bribery is the quid pro quo. You do something for me or in my behalf, and I exercise my official governmental powers in favor of you. That's what Senator Menendez was indicted for, having to do with visas and having to do with Medicare reimbursement. This has to do with the foreign policy and arguably the security of the nation.
You're saying that this is not only potentially unethical, but she may have actually committed felonies while in office?
I am saying that if the version of the book that we have read stands up under scrutiny, the Justice Department must commence a criminal investigation of Mrs. Clinton's behavior during the time period about which the book was written.
To believe that she did this, that she actually changed U.S. policy to line her own pockets, that of her family, you would have to be incredibly cynical, would you not? You would have to believe that Barack Obama put a public servant in there who cared much more about herself and her own wallet than she did about the American people.
Well, Barack Obama put a public servant in there who kept all of her emails from him and from the federal government contrary to law.
Well, but as I said before on the show, is it really paranoia if they really are out to get you? I mean, I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying that's somebody who's worried about people prying into her life, and she thinks she doesn't deserve it. I'm not excusing. I'm saying that's one mindset. But to actually be compromising U.S. policy just to enrich yourself.
That is the allegation in the book. I don't know what Peter Schweitzer, the author, I don't know what his motivation may be. I understand Fox is going to interview him at the end of the week. But if the evidence is sound there, the Justice Department will have no choice but to commence an investigation or endure the mocking of the legal community that the Justice Department of the United States of America is not there to enforce federal law against a popular, whom they perceive to be popular, political figure.
If the timeline is convincing, it's a problem. She's going to have to explain if the timeline matches up or is suspicious. Judge, good to see you.